Hello students, myself Dr. Divya Khildiyal. Now we have finished the syllabus and today we are going to revise this whole paper quickly and solve our model paper for the coming session. Let us begin our revision. Unit 1, Energy and Usage. What are the different types of energies we studied in this paper? Potential energy, that is stored energy or energy due to the position, which is equal to mgh. Kinetic energy, energy in motion, equal to half mv square. Chemical energy, energy stored in the bonds of atoms and molecules. Nuclear energy, energy stored in the nucleus of an atom. Radiant energy, energy in electromagnetic waves. Thermal energy, internal energy in substance, that is the vibration and movement of atoms and molecules within the substance. Electrical energy, movement of electrons, that is the lightning and electricity. Total energy is always equal to the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. Other forms of energy in electricity can be half CV square, where C is capacity of the capacitor, V is the potential difference. There can be half epsilon E square, half epsilon V square upon D square. The electromagnetic spectrum consists of cosmic rays, X-rays, gamma rays, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, and radio waves. It is a very big form of energy. My normalized wave function means integral minus infinity to plus infinity mod of the wave function square equal to 1. My conditions necessary for wave function to be acceptable are: the wave function should be a normalized one, it must be finite everywhere, and it must be continuous, having a continuous first derivative. My Schrodinger wave equation is del 2 phi plus 2m upon h bar square into E minus V phi equal to 0. De Broglie wavelength lambda is equal to h upon p, where h is Planck's constant and p is momentum. Eigenvalues of energy functions are En is equal to n square h square upon 8ml square, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. H is Planck's constant, m the mass, and L the length of the box in which my particle is trapped. Wave function for particle in one-dimensional well is given by phi equal to under root 2 upon L sine n pi by L into x. Other forms of de Broglie wavelength are lambda is equal to h upon 2 under root me, lambda equal to h upon under root 2 mqv, lambda equal to 12.28 upon under root v in angstrom. The four fundamental forces of nature are gravitational force, which is weakest, weak nuclear force; next weakest, electromagnetic force, stronger, and the strongest is the strong nuclear force. Solar radiation angles are incident angle, angle between the incident beam and normal, latitude angle subtended by radial line joining the place to the center of the earth. Declination angle is the angle made by line joining the centers of the sun and the earth with its projection on equatorial plane. Hour angle is the angle through which the earth must be rotated to bring the meridian of a point directly in line with the sun's rays. Altitude angle, it is a vertical angle between the projection of the sun's rays on the horizontal plane and the direction of the sun's rays. Zenith angle, it is the vertical angle between the sun's rays and line perpendicular to the horizontal plane through the point. Solar constant, rate at which energy is received from the sun on a unit area perpendicular to the rays of the sun at a mean distance of the earth from the sun, approximately 1367 watt per meter square. amount of solar radiation that reaches any one point on the Earth's surface varies according to geographic location, time of the day, season, local landscape, local weather. Devices which are used to measure solar radiation are pyronometer, which is a dome-like structure that measures the diffused sun energy, while pyroheliometer is an instrument which is also used to measure solar radiation. Direct radiation and diffuse radiation, the main differences are direct radiation has a unique path, diffuse radiation has a scattered path. Direct radiation is very intense, diffuse radiation is not very intense. Direct radiation, atmospheric conditions like clouds and pollution decrease it. Diffuse radiation, atmospheric conditions increase the diffuse radiation. And direct radiation, the percentage of sky's radiation that is direct is much less in the higher latitudes, while the reverse is there in the diffuse radiation. Semiconductors are of two types, intrinsic or the pure ones, extrinsic or the impure ones, which consist of p-type and n-type. Intrinsic, extrinsic, main differences are intrinsic are pure, extrinsic are impure. Intrinsic depend on temperature only, extrinsic depend on temperature as well as amount of impurity. Intrinsic electrical conductivity is low, extrinsic electrical conductivity is high. Law of mass action, N into P equal to Ni square, where Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration, N0 and P0 are the electron and hole equilibrium carrier concentration. Silicon is preferred in semiconductors because the energy band gap is 0.7 electron volt, whereas in germanium it is 0.2. Thermal pair generation is smaller. Formation of silicon oxide is easy. Silicon is found easily in nature compared to germanium. Noise is less in silicon compared to germanium. Solar cell or photovoltaic cell is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into electricity. Three generations of photovoltaic cell. First generation consists of the basic silicon material of polycrystal. Second generation are the amorphous silicon. Third generation are the small molecules, the nano, the quantum dots, etc. Energy sources that are once exhausted, do not replenish themselves, are called conventional or non-renewable, like coal, gas, oil, etc. Natural sources like wind, tides, solar, which is known as non-conventional, are the non-conventional energy sources. The conventional energy sources: coal, petroleum, firewood, straw. Non-conventional: bioenergy, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. Bioenergy is energy produced from organic matter. Wind energy is a form of solar energy. It describes the process by which wind is used to generate electricity. Wind turbines convert the kinetic energy in the wind into mechanical power. Fossil fuel in existence were produced over a long period of time from the dead of plants and animals. Fossil fuel examples are petroleum, coal, and natural gas. Fluid mechanics helps one to understand the behavior of fluid under various forces at different atmospheric conditions. The energy formula is given by half rho A V cube, where P is power, rho air density, A area swept by blades, and capital A is given by pi r square, V velocity of wind. Viscosity is a measure of fluid's resistance to flow given by force upon area is equal to neta into del V by del Z, also known as velocity gradient. The unit for velocity is Pascal second. Continuity equation is R equal to AV equal to constant, where R is volume flow rate, A is flow area, V is flow of velocity. Bernoulli's principle gives the principle of conservation of energy in fluid mechanics. It is equal to the sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy, potential energy per unit volume area being constant. The different types of flows are steady flow, unsteady flow, laminar, turbulent, rotational, irrotational. Wind energy is a form of renewable energy that can be harnessed from the motion of waves. Hydroelectricity refers to the generation of electrical power by the use of hydropower. Scenario of energy in India is highly derived from coal, from hydroelectric sources, renewable energy, natural gas, and nuclear energy is the lowest in India. The various nuclear radiations are alpha, beta, gamma. In alpha, one helium nucleus, He42 is emitted, beta, electron, and gamma, high energy radiations, which give no difference in mass number and atomic number. Nuclear fuel cycle consists of mining, milling, conversion, enrichment, and fuel fabrication. Nuclear proliferation is the spread of nuclear weapons, fissionable material, and weapons applicable to nuclear technology. Main causes of climatic change are human activity, burning of fossil fuel, converting land from forest into agriculture, increased insect outbreak, declining water supply. Ways to save energy: use of smart power chips, install a programmable or a smart thermostat, purchase energy efficient devices. Green building is a building that is designed and constructed and operated following all the norms of preservation of nature. Green building perspectives preserve all the nature criteria. The LEED ratings, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, is an internationally recognized green building certification system consisting of platinum level for 80 plus points, gold level for 60 to 79 points, silver level for 50 to 59 points, and LEED certified for 40 to 49 points. Energy audit means an inspection or survey which analyzes the energy flow for energy conservation in a building. It may include a process or system to reduce the amount of energy input into the system without negatively affecting the output. Various constants are Planck constant, 6.6 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second, etc. 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. And few mass energy relationships can be the electron volt and joules. Now the model paper. Let me have a look at the question paper. This question paper is of 100 marks. I have been given 3 hours to solve the paper. This paper is consisting of 3 sections. Section A is a 2-mark question from all my 5 units. 2 marks have been asked. See, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4. Section B is consisting of 10-mark questions. From every unit, there is 1 question and it is a 10-mark question. Section C again is a 10-mark question, and from every unit, 1 question has been asked. So I apply my common sense that this is a theoretical paper with 10-mark question. I can score better. So I will start solving the paper from the reverse direction. That means I will pick up section C first to solve my paper. Section C question is 10-mark question. What are the various elements of green building architecture? Green building is a building that is designed, constructed, or operated to reduce the negative impacts of human pollution. Green building is preserving the natural resources. It is energy efficient, it is water efficient, it is pollution free, and it takes into criteria the health factors. What is meant by energy audit? 10 marks. So audit is like checking. So an energy audit is an inspection survey. It analyzes the energy flows for energy conservation in buildings. That means whether the building is having oxygen loving plants or not, whether the preliminary audit consists of power supply, water supply, environment, whether a fire extinguisher is there in the building, whether it is safe for people to survive, is the building following the earthquake norms or not, is the building according to the natural environment or not. So these are basic criteria for audit. Tidal power plants, tides, that is due to the waves which are happening. Different types can be the single basin one cycle. This is the simplest form of tidal power plant. Here you can have a look at the flow chart. Single basin, one way, two way with pump storage, double basin, simple double basic with pumping. So these are the very simple tidal power plants. Next, these are all 10 mark questions. I have to write according to that. Coal energy, natural energy. Coal is used as a fuel to generate electric power. In India, it is the highest source of electric power. And for generating power, it is used a lot in India. And it consists of hydrocarbon mixtures. It consists of methane, ethane, and all these hydrocarbon cycles. The coal is consisting of that, and natural gas, that is the compressed natural gas, is again another source of power supply in India. Next question, what do you understand by 3 generations of solar cells? Solar cells can be categorized broadly into 3 generations. The first generation is the basic silicon one. The second is the amorphous silicon. The third is your small molecule, quantum dot, polymer, etc. More of your research field where new research is going on daily for new types of silicon cells. Charge carriers in semiconductors can be holes or electrons. Holes are formed when pentavalent impurity like trivalent impurity like aluminium is added to a pure semiconductor. It gives rise to p-type semiconductor, and when pentavalent impurity is added to pure semiconductor, it gives rise to n-type, which consists of excess electrons in my electronic circuit. Okay, next, what is there? With the help of a neat diagram, explain the working of a boiling water reactor. This is a type of light water nuclear reactor used for the generation of electric power. It produces steam directly inside the reactor vessel, and water has been used here, and then this pump steam is used to run this turbine. This turbine generates electricity which is used in home or industrial purpose. So basically, it is the challenge of running that turbine. Binding energy is the amount of energy required to separate a particle from a system of particles or to disperse all the particles of the system. It is specially applicable to particles of nuclear scale. Brayton cycle is a Joule cycle. All gas turbines are based on Brayton cycle, which is referred to as Joule cycle. Fuel and air are pressurized, burned, passed through a gas turbine and exhausted. Once the turbine starts running, I get my electricity through this cycle. Again, once again, it is using fuel here as its working substance. Okay, refrigerator and heat pump. A refrigerator or heat pump, the basic function is that it absorbs heat from the cold reservoir at Kelvin temperature and discards heat to the hot reservoir. See, here it is absorbing and then it is discarding. In between this process, the energy left is being used to get the work done either from the refrigerator or the heat pump. Optimization of energy conservation means choosing and adopting methods in day-to-day life to control the energy protection. Like one should switch off lights when they use the room, one should shut down the computer, one should see to it that they do not waste energy. Hydroelectric power comes from the word water. Electricity is produced from generators driven by turbine that are converting the potential energy falling or fast flowing water into mechanical energy, running the turbine, and then power supply or electricity getting generated. Metal semiconductor consists of metal and semiconductor which are combined to generate electricity. This is the simple, and it works in forward and reverse bias, both types. Nuclear fuel cycle consists of mining, milling, conversion, enrichment, deconversion, fuel fabrication, and ultimately leading to power generation. Here, my uranium has been mined, it has been converted to a higher factor, then it is enriched and then sent for fuel fabrication. Finally, my fuel gets ready to be used. The unused part is cooled and stored. Again, this cycle is repeated. Whatever waste I have to throw out from the nuclear cycle, I send it for my geologic disposal. Okay, Schrodinger equation of quantum physics is very important. This wave equation is a fundamental equation in quantum physics, and it describes the variation of wave function in space and time coordinates. 5. Advantages of green energy: less global warming, improved public health, LEED certification, leadership in energy and environmental design. Wind farms or wind park is also called a wind power station or wind power plant. It is a group of wind turbines in the same location used to produce electricity. Sources of geothermal energy: hot water can be released through geysers, hot springs, steam vent, underwater thermal hydro vent, and mud ports. These are the sources of geothermal energy. Intrinsic semiconductors are the pure ones like silicon and germanium. Solar constant is a measurement of the solar electromagnetic radiation. Binding energy: amount of energy required to separate a particle from a system of particles. Half-life represents the decay of the radioactive isotopes. Unit of energy used in nutritional packing is calorie. Calorie is the most favorite unit of heat used in nutrition. Like you say 100 calories carried by a burger. 50 calories is carried by one bread. Entropy of an isolated system always increases and remains constant. It is basically a measure of the disorderness in my thermal experiment. So that is what measures the entropy of a system. Again, I am repeating, it is a 100-mark question paper of 3 hours. Lengthy questions are there. Start the paper from section C. For your 10-mark questions, try writing the answers in bullet points. Thank you. All the best.